Hey, how's it going, guys? And welcome to my tech world. Today, I'm going to be working on this particular laptop, and I'm still trying to get my configuration set up to where I can record this better. Right now, as you can see, I had a donor laptop. So this is the old i3 that was actually in this one, and this one had an i7. So I swapped this one to go into this one already. Forgot to film it. It's got 4 gigabytes of DDR3. Didn't like that. So I actually ordered some Samsung DIMMs, but they didn't have it. So they literally sent some brand new HyperX DDR3. And these are 8 gig DIMMs, as you can see. If it will focus, 8 gig DDR3. That's going to go in, and hopefully that will work. And then also I have a 512 gigabyte Team Group SSD. I have used these a lot. I've only had one fail on me, and they replaced it. So that's what I'm going to be using. So let me try to get this set up to where I can kind of film and just do some of the updates. Okay. So I now have it set up, and hopefully you kind of be able to see. I am going to put my little headset on because I need to be able to see the light. Absolutely comes in handy. So first things I'm going to do is I have this little drive caddy that I need to put back and actually slot the drive in. Let's see, it actually goes like this. So I'm looking at it, I think it's got to go like that, correct? Yeah, okay, so it's got to go just like that. And I'm going to grab my little miniature toolkit here. I believe this is the bit that I need. So this should be more than enough to at least get started on this. And basically what this is a Lenovo. It's a Lenovo E431, I believe. And that is not going in, I don't think. Or is it? Maybe it is. Maybe it's just so loose I couldn't tell. Yeah, it's in there. Oh no, it's not. Okay. It fell out. These are tiny screws. So I don't know what the drive had before, but that's totally not going to work. But that's okay. I actually have. I'm just going to be honest with you, with this lapel mic, I'm probably going to hear every single thing that I do, but I have these screws that I can use for laptops. Let's see, I believe. Oh, that's all too small. I think it's going to be these right here. Yeah, those are like the screws. Okay. So these should screw on quite easily. Oh yeah, that is 100% working. Okay. I keep forgetting I need to do this on camera. I kind of pull things into myself and totally forget that I'm actually filming. Something I got to work on again, because I used to be able to film quite a bit, but I kind of quit YouTube years ago, and now I'm trying to get back into it. And yeah, I have to remember that. Oh yeah, you need to film where the camera is at. Do things where the camera's at. So okay, so that drive is in. So that is going to set just like this. So it should be able to push in and then push down just like that. Okay, and I believe these screws will actually hold in into here because they're the tiny ones. Yeah, those are going in. Perfect. So I pretty much, basically, this one right here was actually kind of dead. and I wanted to get back my Lenovo E430, and I actually have a dock, and it's this one right here that is for the E430, and I can't use it because this one would die immediately. So I am putting this back together and getting it ready to basically install. I believe I'm going to use Linux Mint LMD. So, which if you don't know what that is, it's Linux Mint Debian. I did look at this drive. I think, if I remember right, it is, yeah, it's also another 4 gig that I didn't want to use. Okay, so I'm just going to add those two together, and then if I ever need some extra DDR sticks, because there's at least 8 gigs right there. So yeah, I'll just put this to the side, and we're going to install these new ones. I keep these, by the way. If you ever get like more stem sticks and stuff, these are great to keep in instead of just throw them in a box. But yeah, absolutely. These are very nice stem sticks. Okay, so let's go into slot 1. Then these RAM sticks are technically overkill for this machine, even though this is an i7 with 4 cores and 8 threads. This RAM sticks, it doesn't really need 16 gigabytes, but I feel better that they're 16, so I'm going to keep 16. And then I think everything else is fine as it is. So I'm going to grab the bottom case, or actually maybe I'm going to add some power to it and see if it will power up first, because I really don't want to do that. So let's try to do this in real time. Does it have any battery? It does not. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to see in real time if it will at least power on. And I'm going to try to hold this. Real time error clock. Okay, that's not a big deal. Okay. Okay, yeah, so it is on there. Let's hit tab. Let's see what that is. Okay. So we hit exit. So yeah, it does power up. Okay, so we do get the error of the real time clock. So that's probably something I just need to add the date, but I want to double check and make sure we're all good. So yes, it is recognized the Intel Core i7 3632QM CPU, clock speed 2.2 gigahertz, installed memory is 16 gigabytes. That's good. Okay, yeah, so everything on here looks good. I don't see anything else. I probably will turn secure boot off just because I don't really want to deal with that, to be honest. So let's go to secure boot. Let's just disable it. Oh, it didn't disable. There we go. Okay. So there's that. Okay. To save the configuration. So I've got that all set. So now we're back into this. I'm just going to turn it off real quick. And I want to double check to make sure the error correction is done. So I'm going to turn it back on, see what it does. Okay. Yeah. So that fixed it. It just needed the date to be put correctly. So now what I'm going to do is go grab the Linux Mint Debian Edition ISO real quick, which I think I have on a Ventoy drive. And then I'm also going to put this bottom cover back on. And what I may try to do is I want at least to see if I can get the dock going itself and get that out of the way. So I will be back. Okay, so we are back. I did find the back cover that I was looking for. I can't remember which one of these cases have the Ventoy drive that I need. So I grabbed both of them just in case. And that is a plastic clip that seems to have come off. But as long as this clips back in place, we should be fine. So it should go down because there's a little bit, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's like a little bit of these retentions right here that actually kind of slot down into the case on the ThinkPad Edge. So you have to kind of get it worked down in there. There it goes. And then it just snaps into place. Let's see, I think this is going to be a problem. Let me see if I can get this back up. Yeah, that little tab there is going to be a problem. Okay. Now I should just snap into place. There it goes. And it's just as simple as tighten the screws back up. And I will say I probably will need to replace the battery on this because it does have some issues with, sometimes it turns on, sometimes it doesn't. So that might be a battery issue. Like the battery is kind of bad. I have run into that with my W530, and replacing the battery actually fixed the whole issue. So we'll just have to see how well that does. So, okay. It does need to be cleaned up. It's got some weird patina or something on it. So now I'm going to turn it back on. Yeah, the battery's dead. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to actually, if I can get this out, this is the piece that covers the actual slot to be able to dock this. So what I'm going to try to do actually is see if I can get this dock up and running first. And that way, so this is the connector in that's onto it, and it goes just like this into here. And then the power, I'm not a big fan of this dock, I will say, just because the simple fact that it's kind of loose on its own. But it does give you quite a few ports. So it gives you a headphone jack, 2 USB 3s up here. It also gives you 2 USB 3s in the back. It gives you an Ethernet port. It gives you a display port, a DVI port for your power, and then also 2 USB 2 ports. So it's actually a pretty nice little dock. I'm not going to lie. I just don't like the fact that it's kind of loose and the cable's like really, really long. So let me get this hooked in, and I believe it goes. I had to pull this DisplayPort cable out a little bit. Okay, so that goes there. I'm gonna just kind of put it to the side, move this out of the way, put this here, and so now I do have that plugged in. Everything seems to be okay. I will show you that the nubbin is missing, but I do have the extra piece that I got off that keyboard. So just gonna run that in there. Everything else seems to be okay. Okay, so now we are in Ventoy, so I'm going to go down to LMDE and do normal install. Turn the laptop towards you a little bit. Once again, I don't actually have my good camera stand, and I think what I need to do is, if I'm going to do this from here, especially using my phone camera with DaVinci Resolve, I'm going to have to use the one that's mounted to the ceiling, I think, and that will be more stable. So for now, just going to have to look at this particular one and see exactly what's it's going to show. So we are in LMDE. I am going to go ahead and do my Wi-Fi connection. Okay, I actually did my Wi-Fi connection. I cut away for that, so that way I can not show any of that. So I'm going to go ahead and install Linux Mint. There it goes. Okay, so yep, we are in Linux Mint. Okay, so yes, English, time zone, Chicago is correct. USB keyboard is correct. So we're going to do NatePick. I think I'm going to call it Minty Edge. There you go. Super secure password. Okay. Got the password. We're going to make sure it's all erased and installed. Use my team group SSD, please. Hit yes. Yes, go ahead and do that. Create the partition. Once again, this is actually a brand new disk. So, okay, so everything looks good. Okay. And since I'm not going to probably not going to use this laptop outside the home, I'm not going to do disk encryption because there's no point. And yeah, I'm just not going to do it. So what I'm going to do is just let this go through and go ahead and install everything. And then once I come back, it should be at least installed into Mint. But until then, I'm just going to let this record. We are back and it is installed. So now I'm going to go ahead and just hit yes, and we're going to restart. Okay, that booted pretty quick. So I'll go ahead and let this boot up here in a second. Okay, so now that are up and running, one of the things you can go into Software Manager and actually from here you can you know download your software, everything that you want from there. I want to check that battery again. Now it says at 38%. I don't know if that was still the same as a while ago, so if it's not charging, maybe something to think about. Okay, so these are some of the applications that you can install, and I may go through and install some of these here in a little bit. They do have some of the flat packs already that you can do straight from FlatHub, so that is available. But what I'm actually going to do is go back over here. What I'm going to do, oh, it is charging. Okay, is I'm actually going to open the terminal. So we're going to do sudo apt update let's create a package list. So sudo apt install Nala. I like using Nala over everything else. I'll go ahead and big screen this. And I'll show you some of the few applications that I use to kind of get set up and going. Okay, so sudo Nala update. You always want to run an update after you install that. Okay, So that is fine. Now we're going to do sudo nala install vtop tty clock. Let's see. I'll do SL just because it's funny. vtop tty clock micro. That needs to be on there for sure. Vim, if it's not on there. Let's see. What else do I want to install here? I think it's Intel GPU tools that I need in order to get GPU monitoring. So I'm just going to use that for now. And yep, so okay, all that is fine. And then, oh, I remember the last one I was going to install. Not install NeoFetch. Oh, it's already there. Okay, so I'm going to do sudo micro, and then it's slash etc slash bash dot bash rc. Oh, I misspelled it. That's why. There you go. So now we can go all the way down here and then do neo fetch and space and then alias clear equals, and then you want to put parentheses there, clear and neo fetch. Then hit Control S, that will save. Control Q will quit. So now if we exit, and I believe it's Control Alt T, yeah. So there you go. So now we have everything installed on here. I can pop this over to here and pull up a new terminal on this side. There we go. And I'll run btop and it's going to look absolutely ugly. So I'll go to options. Yeah, it won't look too bad. That looks fine. So yeah, so as you can see, we do have all 8 threads. It's a 4-core, 8-thread CPU. We do have our 16 gigabytes of RAM. It is an Intel 3rd gen. But yeah, this seems to be working pretty well. So I'm really excited to test this, but I do believe I'm going to have a challenge with War Thunder's Nerd Cave, and me and him are going to try to get some of these, I say, benchmarks together, and so hopefully this will actually, kind of perform pretty well. I think we'll both be kind of even on some tests, but since I actually have an i7 and he has a 5th gen, that will probably play to my favor when it comes to multi-threading. Other than that, I do believe that the actual core count and stuff will kind of play pretty close to the same when it comes to single core tests. So yeah, that's all I have. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a great day, great rest of your week. Peace.